Hello viewers, I've decided to do something that I haven't done yet on this channel. I have made some knives in the past, a long time ago, and recently I've started getting an urge to get back into it, to try and make a couple of knives. So I picked up a few pieces of 1095 steel from Amazon. These are pretty thick, as you can see. Instead of trying to make a large knife, I decided to use one of the blanks, one of the bars, to make two knives. What I'm going to do now is using a riffler to try and connect the holes together. There is now an uninterrupted slot. I'm improvising here. I got one of my used hacksaw blades. I'm just using one of the holes to push a tool through, and I'm going to use it as a pull saw. So I'm going to feed the saw through the slot, and then using my tool I'm going to pull toward myself. The edge is actually really hard. So anyway, I had to use this diamond file to make a little notch before starting the hacksaw cut, because otherwise the hacksaw just wouldn't touch it. I also replaced a blade in my hacksaw for a new one, so let's see how this will go. So we should have two pieces now. The thing that bothers me the most is that the edges here are so hard. I'm going to dull the file. What I was thinking originally is that I was going to etch them off. This is actually the second piece, and this one I simply sanded down. So I checked it with the file. The file now cuts along this long edge, the short edge, and the end. What I wanted to show you also is how bad of a job I did while etching the steel. You can see what happened. Basically, I left it alone for too long. My vinyl tape that I put on the blank kind of peeled away at the edges, and we ended up with this mess. I also checked the edge with the file, and the file cuts, so it's still a usable blank. We just need to figure out what to do regarding the shape. Here's the shape we ended up with. Very simple. I think it's going to be good to try. And what I'm going to try to do is keep both these blanks together while I'm removing most of this material and filing them and basically giving them that shape. This stuff, 1095, cuts a little bit harder than mild steel or milder steel, but still, as you can see, we're not using any power tools to remove the bulk of the material, except for drilling those holes. Sorry, we did use a power tool for that, but all of this shaping is done, as you can see, with hand tools. Hacksaw and now a file. This is the coarsest file I have, and all I'm trying to do is just smooth out that curve, remove the hacksaw marks, and give the top of the blade, top of both of those blanks, the same shape. I can tell you right now that the one I etched is slightly smaller, so what I've decided to do is at some point I am going to separate them and work on the etched one a little bit more, just to kind of keep the same exact shape, but because it's slightly smaller, instead of removing more material from the other one, I'm just gonna finish rough shaping that etched one by itself. I haven't figured out how I'm going to terminate the blade into the handle yet, but what I've decided to do here is to round off the transition between the tang and the blade, just to make it a little bit stronger and less prone to cracking in that spot. Even though these knives are pretty short, so I don't know what you would have to do with them or to them to make them crack. But we'll see, we'll see. I'll have to figure out what I do with the tang too. But here's what we ended up with, and this is the end of part 1.